Greetings everyone. My name is Alwin and I represent TechSci Research. We are a market research based management consulting firm and we conduct research across the globe in more than 80 countries. And we conduct research across all the verticals that you can actually think of where market research is required. We are starting a series of podcasts. Topics which we will be covering would be those topics which will normally affect the general populace. So today we are going to talk about diabetes and how small steps can help in beating diabetes. So today we have a very special guest. Her name is Danielle. But before I start shooting questions to her, let her herself tell a little bit about herself. So Danielle, over to you. A little introduction from yourself.
Hi, my name is Danielle Blanchard from Diabetes Motivational Coaching. I'm so excited to speak with you today about how small steps can lead to big changes for your diabetes. My personal experience with diabetes starts when I was diagnosed with type 1 at 16 months old. I My life changed in that moment. All of a sudden, I had to start thinking about what foods I ate, how exercise impacted my life, and so much more. Really, my parents had to think about that, right? Because I was so young.
Right. Thank you so much for your intro. So let me start by asking you the first question. How are you related to diabetes and what actually made you develop this platform of yours?
I was diagnosed with diabetes when I was just 16 months old. On that day, everything changed. All of a sudden, my parents and I had to consider what I ate and how I exercised and how that would affect my blood sugar. For years, I felt different, like the odd one out, having a disease that no one else could understand. All of a sudden, my parents decided that I was to go to a camp for children with diabetes called the Barton Center for Diabetes Education. I was not interested in going. I did not want to leave home. However, parents, being as they are, decided that that would be the right choice for me. And boy, was it the right choice for me. I was able to go and step into a place where everybody had diabetes. All of a sudden, the thing that made me feel different was the thing that made me feel the same. That day, I learned how important community is for people living with diabetes.
So can you tell me a little bit about your services of diabetes motivational coaching?
Diabetes motivational coaching is a business where I have created a program where we can learn how small steps can make big changes in the lives of those living with diabetes.
Well, that's very interesting. So tell me one thing, what is the best way for someone struggling with the burden of diabetes to create a healthy lifestyle?
The best way for somebody with diabetes to make changes to the burdens that affect them, they are going to have to start with making changes to their food and their exercise. But we're going to do this through small steps.
Okay, good. What challenges do you think people face in, starting or sticking to small changes?
It is hard to make these small changes. Some of the challenges for people are the blame game. If we're going to put diabetes as the reason that we're making these changes, as opposed to the reason being that we want to be a healthier person, then we look at it like this: I can't have that cake because I have diabetes. Or I choose not to have that cake today because I'm a healthy person. Or I choose only to have a small portion because that's what a healthy person does. Another barrier could be the people around you. Are the people around you still living a life that leads to diabetes? Are they eating high carbohydrate foods? Are they not exercising? You need to build your community in a way that enhances what you are looking forward to doing. Another challenge for people looking to make changes for their diabetes is that the goals might be too big. You look at your life and you say, well, I'm not exercising at all. I guess I should start exercising. Let's do it 5 days a week because that's the goal. Oh boy, that sounds like a lot. In my program, we look at what the smallest step is that you can do. So for me, I'd recommend that you do your exercise maybe 1 day a week. And then once you get that 1 day, you can add to that and see how much more you can do. Or 1 day every 3 days to make that accomplishment happen.
Okay. So tell me then, how can individuals stay motivated to continue these steps even if the progress they feel is very slow?
Changes that people can do to make the changes easier is just try to do a little bit more than you did yesterday. If you're not active at all, then jumping into the 5 days a week is going to be really hard and probably make you feel like you can't do that. And so, what's the point of even trying? And so, making your goals smaller, just a little bit more than you did yesterday. For example, if you're a person who sits on the couch all day, then maybe you walk around the couch 3 times for the first day. Maybe for the second day and third, you do the same thing. But then on the fourth day, you decide to take a walk around the house. And you do that until you feel strong enough to take a walk into your neighborhood. And you keep working on these goals until you're where you need to be. Another thing is that you can work on a certain time of day as opposed to working on the whole day at the same time. So maybe you just want to work on what you eat for breakfast, making sure that you eat more proteins. Or maybe you want to focus on dinner first. But the whole day doesn't need to be perfect. Just work on small bits at a time. The way to feel successful while you're working through these changes is to have small successes. The more successes you have, the more you're going to feel like a winner. And that really helps in moving forward with your diabetes care and being able to have more successes. When you set yourself up with a high goal and a difficult achievement, sometimes we say you're setting yourself up for failure. We need you to set yourself up for success. Even if you make 3 steps forward and then a step back, that's okay. You're still more advanced than you were before. So just remembering those successes, maybe even writing them down so that you remember your small successes in the beginning. And then when you look back on them a month from now, you can see how many changes you've made. Another part of my program is to act as if. What changes would somebody make who's living a healthier life? Well, they'd eat healthier, they'd do more exercise, they'd drink more water, they might use self care techniques like meditation. So act as if you're living that person's life. Today, I'm going to exercise. I'm going to take some more deep breaths. Be the person you want to be.
Okay. So can you share a inspiring story from maybe one of the people who follow your program?
I would love to share a story about my client, Dhruv. He was able to reverse his diabetes and he cannot see himself moving back to where he was before. When I started working with him in May of 2024, he had just heard that he was diagnosed with diabetes with an A1C of 7.0. Many of his family and friends had already gone down that road and experienced with diabetes, and he did not want to face that. As we worked together, I helped him establish routines that would fit into his life to reverse his diabetes. He was nervous that he would fall back into his old habits, but I assured him that we would have steps along the way that would ensure that that would not happen. Since he started working with me, and as of November 2024, his A1C is 5.2. That is amazing progress. I'm proud of all the growth he has made. He's no longer afraid of slipping back to where he was because of the checks that we have set up. Every week on Sunday, he checks his weight and his blood pressure. Then he's able to see if any changes has happened. If negative changes have happened, he looks back and says, well, have there been changes to my routine that might have caused this? That way, he's not going a long time without noticing these changes to his routine. He was so nice to say that he was thankful for my persistent belief that he could do it. And now he's believing that he can do it as well. Another tip that I have for living with diabetes is to find a community that can support you, whether it's through asking at your doctor's office or finding an online support group or even creating one of your own. Being surrounded by people who understand and who are on the same path is very helpful.
Thank you so much, Daniel. That was very inspiring and very interesting to hear about your experiences.
Thank you so much for having me today. If you'd like to learn more, my email is mydmcoaching@gmail.com. That's MYDM, like diabetes motivational, coaching@gmail.com. And my website is very similar. It's www.mydmcoaching.com. Thank you so much and have a wonderful day.
Special thanks to all the viewers. Thank you so much. We'll be soon coming out with such interesting topics for you. So stay tuned with TechSci Research.